Well, I want to point out one inconvenient fact for the Hillary Clinton campaign is that Omar Mateen was a big-time Hillary Clinton supporter. And I want to tell you something. Man, there's so much freaking disinformation going out there about this guy. I think this is a Lee Harvey Oswald too. You know, first off, I know I put out. Boy, I don't even want to mention the words because I swear DARPA tube here. YouTube, like they pick up words that you say and they say this guy. I don't think he was a radical Islamist at all, man. Not even close. They got transgender people that are from Muslim land or whatever you want to call it, Islam, right? And they're not. Hey, they've been thoroughly corrupted into the American way of life, right? He was too. I mean, this guy likely was actually gay. And I know he supposedly put on things on his Facebook or whatever the heck it was of, all this other stuff. I ain't really sure. I'm just thinking outside the box. But I remember, like, way back when, Lee Harvey Oswald. Now, that's not a good comparison because this guy didn't try to kill a president, but he did a mass murder, right? But, my contention is he was set up as a patsy by the CIA and FBI. According to stuff we got from some article that I think is legit information about James Wesley Howell, that now people do realize that James Wesley Howell was turned himself in or was found by the Santa Monica police in California. Two different stories. One was he turned himself in. That the initial reports was that he turned himself in because he was set up by the CIA. He found out his accomplices that were on the East Coast. He was on the West Coast. Omar and Brandy and this other guy, you don't know his name. They all got killed, and it makes sense. There was more than one shooter, right? I think Omar probably he could. It's a possibility. Let me put it to you this way: it's a possibility that he was told to put all this stuff out there on a thing where, like he's a supporter of radical this and radical that, right? And then he was supposed to carry this out, and the plan was, according to James Wesley Howell, that turned himself in California, that he was supposed to get away. And then he realized that, James Wesley Howell turned himself into the Santa Monica police for protection because he realized that according to the initial reports, was that the CIA set up Omar and Brandy and this other guy. There's supposed to be three shooters, according to James Wesley Howell. And it's supposed to be James Wesley Howell and his Dan that was supposed to shoot up the gay parade in California. Now, actually, I never really was for gay rights or nothing like that. I mean, I don't really give a damn one way or the other. But now I'm getting pro-gay rights now because, to me, this is almost like, what do you call it? There's Sand Creek for the Apache, like they got massacred, right? Or the Wounded Knee for the Lakota got massacred. So the gays got massacred. And it's like, I don't know, whenever something happens to somebody bad, it's like, it makes me get on their side. But anyway, I'm going to put my own angle out in this thing. First off, Hillary is a rotten, evil person. So is Obama, man. I know, like, people are saying they don't know what they're doing. They're liberals or whatever the hell it is. They're not liberals, man. They're just control freaks out for themselves, and they're pushing an agenda to basically control us. That's what the game is, right? Now, I know, like, YouTube doesn't want you to say anything against... Man, you can't even say the two... I mean, like, watch. If I say the word radical Islam in this, their computers are going to pick it up, and they're going to go, let's see if that's okay. I'm like, holy shit, man. What the hell are you doing over there, YouTube? Man, for crying out loud. But you know what? I'm going to tell you honestly, most people... Talk to anybody in the military that was stationed overseas in, like, the Muslim countries. Yeah, homosexuality is illegal, but they practice it over there a lot. I don't understand why it's like that, but they do it a lot. Because people that were stationed overseas, they seen it happen all over the place, even like out in public practically. And it's, you know what? I'm sorry you're not going to be. I find an article or a link on that, but it's just eyewitness news from the military people. You want to ask around, and it's kind of like weird because the religion says one thing, but the people are doing something else. Well, it's almost like, what the hell is it? Like the joke is too. People go to the bars on Friday and Saturday night, and they get drunk and they get all rowdy and they screw around. And they go to church on Sunday morning. Religion's a bunch of bullshit, right? Isn't that true? And but this Omar guy, man, I shouldn't laugh about it, but it's like, man, what I think though is like, this G4S. This is really what I concentrate on because I said that before, and it was actually quoted in Washington Post article. It was about Wackenhut, and that G4S is alleged to be a CIA front corporation and all this kind of stuff. But one thing you really got to really think about and just keep it down to the bare bones basics without even going down to things you can't really prove. But what you can really prove is this: G4S is the largest security company in the world. They're hired by the U.S. government to protect the most sensitive installations in the United States, including our borders, our embassies, security for atomic nuclear facilities in this country, military bases, you name it, man. And this guy worked for him for 8 years, almost a decade. So, like, the whole axiom, I guess, for gun control when they're talking to government saying the government is here to protect us. Well, basically, this guy worked for the government. Yeah, it was a private corporation, but it was a private corporation hired by the government all the time. A security corporation, in other words. It wasn't, somebody just doing painting the buildings corporation, that type, or mowing the grass on the installation. No, it was in charge of security. So that kind of blows apart that whole argument. The government's here to protect us, kind of stuff. You'll feel safe with the government taking in charge because basically this guy was, hooked in with the government. But you know what? If you freaking weren't born yesterday, I don't think it's like a conspiracy theory that this guy was a patsy for the CIA and FBI. And you know what? I can't say it's all the CIA and FBI, but I'm not really thinking too good of these guys anymore because this is cropping up too many times now. And I used to think more like it's just some bad elements and bad apples, but I'm beginning to wonder there's probably a lot more bad apples than you think. And that's the way it is. But anyway, Mr. Obama here with no agenda. He does have an agenda. His agenda is to screw us up, man. Basically, he's working for the bad guys, that want to own America and basically make it as a serfdom state. Like back in the old days, way before even the colonies existed in the United States, they had serfdom in Europe. Yeah, it wasn't really called slavery, but you were a serf. You didn't own the land, you just worked the land. And if your kids were born by you, the serf, well, they were serfs too, and the feudal lord owned them. Well, that's exactly what they're doing today, right? No different, just with technology, right? Okay. Yeah. So actually, I got a great suggestion though, because you see, Mr. Obama, he seems to think everything's, the problem. Well, he blamed everybody else except, and I don't blame radical Islam on this killing. I don't, because this guy wasn't a radical Islamist, or whatever you want to call it. He wasn't. He actually was gay. The guy was a drunk too. Well, he wasn't a drunk, but he drank enough to get drunk a bunch of times. He wasn't like real religious, And you know what? If you had half a brain and you were a radical Islamic guy, and I almost hate using those two words together because YouTube's going to say, it's like every time, take a DARPA tube over here. They search for words, man. But I swear to God, man, it's kind of annoying me. But, DARPA tube. But you know what? The thing is, if you were a radical Islamic guy, you wouldn't do something like that because, it would look bad for you and your cause. You wouldn't do that. You would be more concentrating on something else. I don't know, it would be a different strategy. You wouldn't do something like this. And so that's probably the other side of it too, where the CIA, FBI planted this bullshit, is to get the American public all riled up against radical Islam too. Why do we have 911? Yeah, okay, the planes knocked down the buildings, but Building 7 didn't get hit by a plane, and that was one of the strongest, most fortified buildings, well built in this whole entire country. As a matter of fact, it wasn't. I forgot what the hell you called it. Homeland. That wasn't Homeland Security. Maybe it was called Homeland Security back then, but they were stationed right in there. They had all the best stuff in Building 7, even the Enron investigations and stuff, best security people and all that type of stuff. Now, I know the building was mainly empty of people when it came down, Building 7, but what the hell was it? Larry Silverstein said, there was so much death and destruction, I decided to have that building pulled. Because there was a fire in 2 of the offices on the top, I just decided to have it pulled. And of course, I collected double insurance on it because there was 2 planes. Yeah, okay, man, all right. It's not a conspiracy theory, Hey, yeah, right. Hey, God. But you know what? I think what should happen here is this. The Secret Service work hard, and I figured to get sick of working for Obama. And you know what? Maybe the computer's going to try to put this thing into office, the Hildebeest. And she does have an agenda. It's a communist agenda. But you know what could happen? This is what I think. The Secret Service work hard. And could you imagine them having to deal with Hillary Clinton? I mean, she doesn't even want them looking her in the eye. Look down at my feet when you address me, because I am Princess Poo Poo. That's real, man. When she was the wife of Bill Clinton, she wasn't even the president. She was the biggest a-hole in the world, man. But you know what? The Secret Service, since they work so hard, and since putting up with Hillary is like a punishment, I think they should be given a vacation for maybe 3 months. Good 3-month vacation, taxpayer expense. I mean, I'm a taxpayer, right? I pay some taxes once in a while. You know what? What you need to do is have G4S take over for the security of Hillary, and you can have Islamic guys protect her, and also before, do a trial run before that, if she ever makes it in there, have a trial run with Obama. Have G4S protect Obama. And, since he's Muslim, more or less, I think he is, have some G4S Muslim guys freaking protect him. What do you think about that? Wouldn't that be great? I come up with the better ideas, not the freaking young Turks. They're idiots, man. I'm sick of these. I'm getting fed up with all these freaking yo-yos on YouTube, to tell you the truth. That's why I know maybe people don't like me sometimes, but you know what? I got to tell you honestly, I think differently from either conservative or liberal. And the reality situation is, I swear to God, I think I'm right about this guy all the way. He was not a radical guy. I think he was told to put that crap on anything. He was supposed to go in there and do this shit, and he was supposed to get away with it. And it was supposed to probably be something whereby they'd use it against radical Islam. And of course, he got wasted. Like, he was set up. Just like not like Lee Harvey Oswald. Well, he was set up. He didn't even know what he was over there for, probably. But just like James Wesley Howell said, that's why he turned himself into the Santa Monica police in California. So all these conservatives going around saying, hey, it was radical Muslim. It wasn't them. It wasn't even that. Not that I agree with those guys. I don't agree with any radical freaking religions, okay? Sometimes the Christians piss me off. I'm telling you right now, because, maybe not in modern days. Just go back not that far. Go back to freaking Puritan times in this country, New England. Yeah, they used to go on witch hunts. That's no bullshit. Yeah, it doesn't happen today. Fine, it doesn't happen today. I know that. Even in the 1800s, some of the shit happened pretty crazy. Go back to the Inquisition in Spain, right? By the letter of the law, you're not supposed to pierce the flesh. So what they used to do is they used to put them on the rack and stretch them out. You weren't supposed to break their bones or pierce the flesh, so they used to put them on a rack and stretch them out, freaking screw them up that way. Because by the letter of the law, you're allowed to do that, which that wasn't in the spirit of the law. They're still torturing the shit out of people, over religion. And, I'm Catholic. You know what? I can tell you the current Pope is a load of it. But I've seen the real history of a lot of these popes way back. They were infallible way back when. Yeah, right. Some of the peasants, husbands were going after, almost killing the Pope because he was screwing around with the old ladies, right? Now, am I going to get in trouble for saying that on YouTube? I don't know. But you know what? All these religions are full of it, okay? All right? They all are. But this guy was not a radical Islamic guy. He was a cold-blooded murderer because he was actually, I'm pretty damn sure of it, he was tasked to do this. He was tasked to do this. And then they threw him under the bus and they killed him. That's how that's how the wife, that's how I'm pretty sure it went down. But he wasn't the only shooter because no one shooter was semi-automatic. Even, you know what, if you're going to shoot 100 people, and you know which kind of weapon you need? You need a squad automatic weapon of 200 rounds. That's what you would need. And you know what? It wouldn't take 3 hours. You'd do it in like side of like freaking 50 seconds or something. Just do a 360 circle. You know? But you're not a semi-automatic. You wouldn't be doing it with that. With a 30-round magazine? What, are you kidding me? No way in hell. There was 3 shooters, man. Because that's what that James Wesley Howell said. Ha ha ha. Yeah, we got it, man. But this guy was set up. And, you know, I almost bet you Mr. Obama knew what the deal was. Because first thing out of his hole was, hey, we got to get these AR-15. And, you lousy piece of shit. We know what the deal is. G4S needs to guard you, Obama. Some of your buddy Muslims, your Muslim guys. I think some real, true religious guys, not the guys that don't drink. The ones that are really, like, into, you know, praying towards Mecca, they don't drink, they really obey all the Quran. Those kind of guys, see, those are the kind of guys you supposedly like, Obama, right? And, you know, we ought to get the G4S with the Muslim guys, you know, real ones, the good guys, you know, the ones that are really religious, have them guard you, and, like, you know, the Secret Service could take a vacation for 3 months. You'll be safe, Obama, because you freaking follow the law of the Quran all the way, right? No problem, dude. Okay? And, Hillary, you could be next, in case you win. And Trump, you can take the, whatever, the Christian yo-yos. I ain't really religious, to tell you the truth, but, you know, I see through the bullshit all the way. And the conservatives are wrong. The liberals are lying pieces of crap. But the conservatives are wrong, too. And, you know, the way everybody's freaking hitting this angle on this thing, you're all hitting it wrong. You're all hitting it wrong. I'm hitting it right. Sorry. You hate to be bragging about it, but I'm hitting it right. My points are, number one, this guy was not a radical Muslim guy. He was like a U.S. guy that was raised Muslim. And, yeah, maybe his dad came from radical Muslim land or some shit. I don't know what the hell the guy came from. He came from Afghanistan, right? But he was, like, totally indoctrinated and corrupted by the American way of life. You know, this Omar Mateen, right? And he was beyond corrupted. He was going to gay bars getting drunk. He was actually involved in one of the skits. He wasn't scoping these places out. That's BS. He wouldn't be getting that involved in this shit. You know what I mean? I mean, if you freaking said, I abhor these guys kissing each other, why the hell would you be going in there for hours getting drunk with them? What, are you kidding me? No, he was part of this shit. And I think he was told by the CIA or the FBI, one of them two or both, probably both, to post this stuff about, oh, I'm a radical Islamic guy. And he was instructed to do this by them. That's what I'm thinking. Because, you know, I'm using that James Wesley Howell testimony, or whatever the hell it is, hearsay testimony. How's that? You know, I can't say it's ironclad. And that's what happened, man. The guy set this guy up. But he's a cold-blooded killer. But yeah, he's a cold-blooded killer that supports Hillary Clinton. Ha, 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 ha. Yeah, Hillary, well, we know you're a cold-blooded killer, so's your husband. How's Vince Foster doing? How about JFK Jr., right? Yeah, Young Turks, you're lame. You're lame. I don't know why the hell you're popular on YouTube. I don't know why. No idea why. None. You're lame as shit. And I'm just telling it like it is. And I know DARPA Tube's going to probably see some words on here, and I'll probably have to request the manual review. I know what they always do. DARPA Tube. Yeah, you guys are DARPA Tube. You're freaking taking you probably got every word I say, and you freaking computerized it, categorized it, and you're doing a profile on me and shit. Yeah, I know. You know what? I'm going to tell you right now, even at the end of this shit, because, you know, they're doing this shit with these computers right now, everybody will just throw in words like, yeah, gee, you know, the words they don't want, you know what I mean? Just throw them in the middle of sentences just to screw up their freaking algorithms. How's that? Uh-huh. It's kind of like you have electronic circuitry and it's really good, and you put a little water and sand in it, and it goes bzzz. Right? Anyway, over and out. And enjoy your time in hell for the forever and ever, Mr. Omar. Because that's where you are right now, you dumbass. Because, you know what? If somebody instructed me to, well, I don't want to say what I'm going to do. Because, well, I'll tell you, because you know what? You freaking, anybody would figure it out. Somebody instructed me to do that kind of shit. I say, yeah, I'd do it, and I'd probably kill the fucking bastard who freaking told me to do it. How's that? You know what I mean? Because, you know, that's, in other words, somebody told me to do some kind of shit like this, well, it just wouldn't happen. You know what I mean? It wouldn't happen. But then again, you know, the way they trick people, you never know, because they'll be telling you, oh, these people are, I don't know, they go, but I don't know, I'm pretty shrewd. I pretty much see through a lot of shit. Conservatives don't see through crap. The liberals are lying pieces of shit. And most of the major media, including most of the alternative media, is a load of crap. And there you go. What are you going to do about it, right? What are you going to do about it? So my angle is probably correct on this deal. This guy was trained killer by the CIA, FBI. And not laughing, silly, but you know he was a trained killer, and he was told to do this, play like he was a radical guy. He wasn't a radical guy. He was a freaking total, thoroughly corrupt American type. You know, he had no morals whatsoever. You know what I mean? And play like he was a radical guy. And he was supposed to escape. And he didn't escape. And James Wesley Howell turned himself in California to Santa Monica police because he realized Omar and Brandy and this other guy were double-crossed. They were all killed. And he figured James Wesley Howell said to the police chief over there, Jacqueline Seabrooks, I realized, you know, CIA is going to kill me. They set me up. So they're just asking for protection. Okay? Right? Right, you Mr. YouTube? You ought to get this video around there because you guys can freaking push any damn video you want. I know you can because you know what? It's not really for me so much because I think this is a real angle to it because I'm not against somebody wanting to be religious and I'm not against somebody that doesn't want to be religious. I'm not against, you know, anybody who wants to do their own thing no matter what the hell it is, right? As long as you're not screwing anybody else up, right? But, you know, in this case, I'm against the people that ordered and, you know, of course, Omar was part of this, that set this whole thing up. Because I'm saying is, I'm not really, you know, I don't have ironclad proof on this deal, but I'm pretty damn sure of it. I just wish I could freaking say, you know, for sure. But at the very least, we could say that Omar worked for pretty close to the government itself. He worked for a security agency, largest security company in the world, contracted with the government left and right to protect all its sensitive installations, including nuclear power plants and embassies and all that kind of shit. And he's the guy that did it. So if Obama wants to argue that's why we should be disarmed as citizens, what are you, kidding me? The other way around, Obama. You're the problem, buddy. Anyway, over and out.